So tell me about Monique and how what was she like?
Beautiful. She was so wonderful. The We just saw them on Christmas, and the last thing she said to me 3 weeks ago, and we were at Spencer and Maddie's parents, and she was like, "Gina, don't go. Spend the night. We need to talk all night. Let's hang out all night. Let's have a drinks. Let's just talk and be together." And she was just so sweet, and she was like that to everybody. And she's just there wasn't enough words in the world to describe how beautiful and kind she was.
When I see their wedding video, I just see how beautiful they are together. And I think you can see the love that they share. What were they like in person as someone who never got the chance to meet them?
That there was I never saw them fight, never saw them argue. We lived in Columbus for a while, so we would hang out with them quite a bit. And never he would lay down the word, like he would do anything for her. If she didn't feel good, he would take care of it. If she wanted to leave, he would go. They were just phenomenal. And like a big, and I hate like even saying this, but I think she felt so blessed to, after what she had been through in her previous relationship, I think she just felt like she was the luckiest person in the world.
Did she talk to you about her marriage to Michael McKee?
Yes, yes.
Do you mind sharing
Um,
what she told you?
yeah, and there not recently, not the first few times I saw her, but at the beginning, she never called it. She never. I didn't even know his name. She never said Michael. She said my ex. She said he was bad. She said abusive. Um, I don't think she ever said physically. I don't know, but I do know she would say quite a bit, very verbally, mentally abusive, and I don't think I ever got the impression that she was afraid of him. I got the impression that she hated him and that she knew she knew things were bad there, and I don't think it ever fully left her mind, which I don't like to say that. And um, but yeah, I don't think she ever thought that he was. I don't think I don't. That sounds bad. I don't think anyone thought that this was going to happen. I also don't think that she ever thought he would leave her alone for the rest of her life.
So I think a big question that a lot of people have is they divorced in 2017. It's been a long time. Had he been contacting her or following her in Columbus since then that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, and not that most people that I've talked to are aware of. But he was that like he. I just I don't know. He's just that sneaky kind of sociopathic smart that I had heard a few rumors. I'm not sure I should like say exactly what, but things that he had said to people surrounding her. But I hadn't heard any like definite things of he was actually anything definite. I should say yes.
Do you have any idea why now, after all of these years, that he's accused of doing this heinous act?
Sorry. Um, I think it's just because everything that everything you see the wedding video, everything that people see is who they really were, and they were so perfect and they were so wonderful, and I think he couldn't live with it. I think he could not fathom her happiness, and she was so happy. Her kids were just playing with my kids, and everything was perfect and wonderful. And you don't like to say perfect because nobody's perfect, but like to the naked eye, they were.
When you first heard what had happened, what did you think?
So my brother Rob had called my mom screaming, like inconsolably screaming, and then my mom called me right away inconsolably screaming, and then I called Rob inconsolably. So all three of us are just screaming. And the first thing my mom said to me was, "Spencer and Monique are dead." And I said, no, they're not dead. We saw them 4 days ago. They're not dead. We just saw them. How could they be dead? And she was like, no, Gina, they're dead. So my first thought was like, oh my God, they got in a car crash. And then my mom, it was before like anybody, it was before, anyone was even there. So then my mom was like, I don't know, your brother doesn't know, but it looks like murder. Um, and you just, I think the initial shock, I didn't think anything. And then I kind of sat with it for like 15, 20 minutes. And in my head, I'm like replaying every conversation. And within 15 minutes, I was like, oh my God, the ex.
So were you surprised when Columbus police arrested him?
I got down, no, no. I was like, thank God, thank God. We kind of knew it was coming sooner rather than later. And the police had been very tight-lipped, I will say. They'd been very tight-lipped, even with the family. We didn't know much. So we only knew about an hour or two before it actually happened that it was going to happen. And when Rob called me, he was just ecstatic. He's like, it's happening soon. And we were actually driving down to Columbus for the services when I got that call, and it was just like an overwhelming wave of emotion that they got him and they got the right guy.
How were the services? I can't imagine how difficult it'd be to later arrest two of your good friends.
We had a reception the first night at Tartan Fields, which was beautiful, and it was small, which was nice. There was only maybe 100 people, and it was that was we were able to laugh and share funny stories because we all have funny stories. But the funeral itself was like, I think I'll live my whole life and never, ever, ever get over what it looks like to see two caskets right by each other, and then knowing who's in there, and then
Surreal.
the kind of grief that like you you don't think you'll ever face, and you don't face, and that they were just both there, and they were both, yeah, and their parents, and each set of family was on either side, and just,
How were their kids doing? I think a lot of people, their biggest concern when they heard what had happened is thankful that the kids weren't hurt, but deeply concerned that this happened when they were in the house.
um, as far as I know, okay, emotionally okay. They're very young, and we are thankful they're very young. She's funny. She's like a fire. She's her mom. She's a firecracker. She's kind of bossy, but she's sweet. Um, and they are going to be in the care of an amazing, amazing family who will love them like their own forever and ever, ever. So, as as horrible as it is for them, they are fortunate that they are going to be with some amazing people that will love them forever.
If a lot has come out about Spencer and Monique and what they did for a living and that they were loving people, but is there something that you think people should know that you haven't heard a lot of people talk about them?
I would say just how funny they were. They were so like, and Spencer just did the funniest things. Like he, there's just so many stories. Like I don't even know where to begin, but just I mean, he was funny, but the things that he did and said and how kind he was. I remember it was like a holiday weekend. Excuse me. It was like Saturday of a holiday weekend, and I had like a problem with one of my teeth, and of course all the dentists are closed. And so I just texted him. I'm like, "Hey, Spence, sorry to bother you." Within probably 30 seconds, he walks out of a bar and FaceTimes me immediately. And he was like, "Hey, sis, let's talk about those teeth." And he walked me through every single thing. Like, he was called sis. Sis, Maddie, my sister in law, was always sis. But then there were a lot of us that were sis to him. Um, but he was out, with friends having a good time in the short north. And he was able to, like, put on his dentist cap, and just kind of tell me what was going on with my teeth, and he was right. And that was like one of my favorite Spencer stories. But I don't know, he was just so good. And they were nervous when they were pregnant with the first one, so they would come over and practice with my kids sometimes, and it was just so cute. And they had no reason to be nervous. They were amazing.
How thankful are you that you got that last night with them?
That there's no words. There's no words. Um, I just wish we could stay longer with them. A Monique story that's funny. She was a really good baker, and she had baked this pot of like this big pan of tiramisu. And my husband's Italian, and Monique and I are like shoveling it in our faces, like bowl after bowl. We're just like crushing it. And I was like, Monique, I'm gonna take a bowl of tiramisu to Dominic, and she was like, oh, Gina, no, don't do that. I said, why? She goes, a real Italian can't have this. He'll think it's terrible. He'll think I'm a terrible baker. Like, Monique, stop it. Like, she was just funny. And I took to him and he was like, this is delicious. Like, I wish my wife would bake me an Italian dessert. But that's just, she was funny too. And she was funny in a different way than Spencer. Spencer was funny in like the class clown, the like silly guy. And she was funny in just the like kind of always on it, like always, hey, don't give it to him. He's Italian. But yes, but that was a wonderful, wonderful evening.
I had read somewhere that as much as she loved being a mom, she didn't love being pregnant. Is that true?
No. It wasn't the yeah. It's okay. She was not. She wasn't. She wasn't closed off about that. But yes, she. Yeah, and they were done. That was the end. They were not going to be more babies. They had their two babies, and they had their third baby, Larry, who is in the very good care of Rob and Maddie. And Larry
Their
is
golden
awesome.
doodle.
Oh yes, big black golden doodle, and he was at the funeral, and he was the emotional support dog, which was very cool.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Will you be following along with the court process?
As much as I can. I've been on the social media groups a little bit. I've had to take a lot of breaks. I'm sure everyone's aware, like there was a long time where people were kind of suspecting Rob, which was so ridiculous. And then they were suspecting one of our other friends. And then they were suspecting the dentist. And so the reason I say it's hard to follow along is because there are still people out there that are like, I don't think this was the guy. I don't think it was him. When all of us who knew them, every single one of us knew that this was the guy. And I wish I could tell that to every single person that is saying no. It's yes. If you knew Monique, you knew this was what happened to her. So I will follow along as best I can. I don't really want to know. I don't want to know the bad details. I don't want to know and I don't want to remember how they went. I want to remember who they are now, or who they were to me, and who they were to all of us. Not how they left us. So I do, but I will say I do hope this person. I don't even like to say his name. I hope he doesn't see the light of day again.
Anything else you want to share with us about Monique, what she was like as a friend?
She was just kind, and she was always asking about you. Like she was asking about your life, what's going on with you, how are you doing. She was one of those people that genuinely like when I'm with my friends, I'm kind of all over the place. She was one of those people that could like just make eye contact with you and make you feel like you were her, her friend, her close friend, no matter who it was. And she was also like, and I'm like this too, but she, in a good way, she was a hugger and a toucher. And when you were talking with her, you were close, and she would touch, touch your shoulder. But what happened to her, and it's just, she was way too good, or everyone in the world is too good for that. But I will say, I think that her reward for the hell that she lived for years was Spencer. Um, and she knew that. She knew, she knew every day that that was the reward.
Are you kind of surprised at the national attention that has been given to your friends' deaths?
Yes, I would say mostly because like I said, like we knew before the media was even there. We probably knew an hour before the media was there, and so I was like refreshing the apps, seeing what was going on, if it had been caught up yet, and when it started to happen, it was obviously like everyone was playing it out like you would think like, oh, this could be a murder suicide, and then like two bodies. And so I think we absolutely expected that first night, the local, of course. When the national media picked it up, I personally, and I think a lot of people were shocked beyond belief how quickly it became a big story. And then, even more so, like you can't even get on Facebook without seeing their faces, which is good. I mean, it's hard. I don't love that, but it's good that most people have been very kind and have said kind things. But yeah, it's crazy how much it blew up and how fast.